Steve Patterson here from Photoshop Essentials. In this video, I show you how to turn type into gold with Photoshop. I'll even show you how to save your gold text with a transparent background, so you can use it with any background you like. I'm using Photoshop 2024, and I'll start from the beginning by creating a new document and adding the text. But you can use the chapter times if you want to jump ahead. To create a new document from the home screen, click the New File button. Or from Photoshop's main interface, go up to the File menu and choose New. In the New Document dialog box, I'll set the width of my document to 3000 pixels and the height to 1600. I'll set the resolution to 72 pixels per inch, and to help the gold text really stand out, I'll set the background contents to black. Then click Create. And I'll zoom in on the document by going up to the View menu and choosing Fit on Screen. Before we go any further, I'm going to hide my contextual taskbar, since we don't really need it for this effect. To hide it, click the three dots and choose Hide Bar. You can always bring it back later by going up to the Window menu and choosing Contextual Taskbar down at the bottom. Then to add the text, choose the Type tool from the toolbar. Then choose your font in the Options bar. I'll keep things simple and use Times New Roman, with the weight set to bold. Choose a color for the text by clicking the color swatch. Since the background is black, let's choose white for now, which sets the R, G, and B values to 255. Then click OK. Click in the document and add your text. I'll type the word gold. Then click the check mark in the Options bar to accept it. To resize the text, go up to the Edit menu and choose Free Transform. Then in the Options bar, make sure that the link icon between the width and height fields is turned on, so we won't distort the shape of the text as we resize it. Then simply drag any of the handles to scale the text to the size you need, and click and drag inside the transform box to center the text on the canvas. I'll make my text just a bit bigger, but since I've already centered it, I'll resize it from its center by holding the Alt key on my keyboard or the Option key on a Mac as I drag the handle. Then to accept it, click the check mark in the Options bar. Now that we have our text, let's start turning it into gold. In the Layers panel, the text is on its own type layer above the background. We actually need two copies of our text, one for the main letters and one for the stroke that we'll add around the letters. So make a copy of the type layer by dragging it down onto the Add New Layer icon, and the copy appears above the original. To create the gold effect, we'll use Photoshop's Layer Effects. Click on the Effects icon at the bottom and choose Gradient Overlay from the list. And this opens the Layer Style dialog box. I'll move it off to the side so we can see more of the text as we work. We're going to create our own custom gold-colored gradient, so click the Gradient Color Swatch. In the Gradient Editor, double-click on the color stop below the left side of the preview bar. Now I've sampled some colors from a photo of a gold coin, so to use the same colors, set the R value to 246, the G value to 238, and the B value to 173. Then click OK to close the color picker. Back in the Gradient Editor, double-click on the color stop below the right side of the preview bar. And then, in the color picker, set the R value to 193, the G value to 172, and B to 81. Then click OK. And we have our gold-colored gradient. Now, we'll need this gradient again later, so let's save it as a preset. Give the preset a name. I'll name mine Gold. And then to save it, click New. And the preset appears as a thumbnail below the gradient sets. Click OK to close the Gradient Editor. And back in the Layer Style dialog box, change the gradient style from linear to reflected. And this moves the darker part of the gradient to the top and bottom of the letters, and the lighter part running through the middle. We're done with the gradient overlay, so let's add a Bevel and Emboss effect by selecting it on the left. Change the technique from Smooth to Chisel Hard. Then go down to where it says Gloss Contour, click the small arrow next to the thumbnail, and choose the Ring Double Contour by double-clicking on its thumbnail. Above that, change the angle to 120 degrees and turn on Anti-Aliased to smooth out any jagged edges. And then to add more contrast to the effect, increase the opacity for both the highlight mode and the shadow mode to 75%. But notice how it looks like we have a stroke around the letters, which is not what we want. We need to fill in all of that empty space inside the letters, and we can do that by increasing the size value. The easiest way is to click inside the box and then use the up arrow key on your keyboard to increase it by 1 pixel at a time. Or hold the Shift key on your keyboard and press the up arrow to increase it by 10 pixels at a time. And then once they're close to being filled in, release the Shift key and press the up arrow a few more times until they're filled in completely. Then increase the depth to around 170% to enhance the lighting and contrast even more. We have one more layer effect to add, so click on Inner Glow on the left. Then change the blend mode from Screen to Multiply and increase the opacity to 50%. Click the color swatch to choose a new color, and in the color picker, set the R value to 232, the G value to 128, and the B value to 31. Then click OK. Finally, increase the size of the glow until it's completely covering the letters. When you're done, click OK to close the Layer Style dialog box. And the first part of our gold effect is done. So let's move on to the second part and add more gold around the letters. In the Layers panel, click on the original type layer to select it. Then click the Effects icon and choose Stroke. And this reopens the Layer Style dialog box. In the Stroke options, change the fill type from Color to Gradient. Then click the arrow next to the Gradient preview bar, scroll down past the Gradient Sets, and choose the Gold preset we saved earlier by double-clicking on its thumbnail. Change the gradient style from Linear to Reflected. Then set the position to Outside and increase the size of the stroke to how wide you want it to be. I'll set mine to 16 pixels. Now remember the size you choose here because we'll need it again in a moment. Next, choose Bevel and Emboss on the left. And to apply it to the stroke, change the style to Stroke Emboss. Then set the size to the same size you chose for the stroke. In my case, it was 16 pixels. Make sure the technique is set to Chisel Hard, Gloss Contour is set to Ring Double, and that Anti-Aliased is selected. Over on the left, just below the words Bevel and Emboss, click inside the checkbox for the Contour option, and this further enhances the lighting around the stroke. Finally, to add a glow around the letters, choose the Outer Glow effect. Increase the opacity to 40%. Then click the color swatch, and we'll use the same color we used earlier for the inner glow by setting R to 232, G to 128, and B to 31. Click OK to close the color picker, and then increase the size value until you see the glow around the letters. In my case, a value of around 110 works well. And we're done with our layer effects, so click OK to close the Layer Style dialog box. Let's finish off the gold text by adding a few sparkles around the letters, and then I'll show you how to save the final result with a transparent background. We'll add the sparkles on their own separate layer. So in the Layers panel, click the Type layer on top to select it. Then click the New Layer icon to add a new blank layer above the text. I'll double-click on the layer's name and rename it Sparkles. To create the sparkles, we'll use one of Photoshop's brushes. So select the Brush tool from the toolbar. Then right-click in the document to view the list of brush presets. The brush we need is an older brush that's still included with Photoshop, but you won't find it in any of these newer sets. Instead, we need to load the legacy brushes. So click the gear icon and choose Legacy Brushes down at the bottom. Click OK to confirm that you want to load them, and then you'll need to right-click again and scroll down to the new Legacy Brushes set. Twirl it open and scroll down to the Assorted Brushes. Then twirl the Assorted Brushes open and scroll down to the brush called Crosshatch 4 and double-click on it to select it. To choose a color for the sparkles, hold the Alt key on your keyboard or the Option key on a Mac to temporarily switch to the eyedropper tool, and click on a light gold color in the text to sample it. Then release the Alt or Option key to switch back to the Brush tool. Now, the default size of this brush is 48 pixels, which is probably too small, but you can adjust the brush size using the left and right bracket keys on your keyboard. I'll press the right bracket key a few times to increase the size to around 100 pixels. And then I'll click to add a sparkle at the top of the letter G. And I'll add a few more. You might want to change the size of the brush for each one, just to add some variety. So I'll press the left bracket key a couple of times to make it smaller, and then I'll click to add a second sparkle. I'll add a third one on the letter L, and then I'll use the right bracket key to increase the brush size, and I'll click on the letter D. And I think that looks good. If the sparkles are too bright, just lower the opacity of the sparkles layer in the Layers panel. I'll lower it to 80%. And with that, our gold text effect is done. But what if you want to save your gold text with a transparent background so you can place it onto a different background? Well, to remove the background, just turn off the background layer. And now we have a transparent background. Then to keep the transparency when we save it, we need to save it as a PNG file. So go up to the File menu and choose Save a Copy. Don't choose Save As because the PNG format won't be listed. Navigate to where you want to save it on your computer, then click on the file type and choose PNG from the list. Give the file a name. I'll name it Gold Text, and then click Save. In the Format options, choose the smallest file size and click OK. It will take a few seconds for it to save, and now we have our gold text with the transparent background that we can place onto a different background. And here's how to do it. I'll switch from the Brush tool to the Move tool just to hide that brush cursor. And then I'll open a different document that I want to place the gold text into. And I'll zoom in by going up to the View menu and choosing Fit on Screen. To place the gold text into the document, go up to the File menu and choose Place Embedded. Then navigate to where you saved the PNG file, click on it to select it, and then click Place. Photoshop adds the free transform handles around the text so you can resize or reposition it if you need to, but I'll just click the check mark to accept it. And in the Layers panel, the text is added on its own layer above the background. But I don't like how the text is just sitting in front of the background image. I'd like to blend it in better by having some of those sparkles in the background appearing in front of the letters. So to do that, I'll make a copy of my background image by dragging it down onto the Add New Layer icon. And then I'll drag the copy above the text. And to blend it with the text, I'll change its blend mode from normal to screen. And I think that looks better. The only problem is that the background copy layer is affecting and brightening the entire image, and I only want it to affect the text. So I need a way to control the visibility of that background copy layer so that it's visible only in front of the text itself, not in the transparent areas around the text. And we can do that using a clipping mask. So with the background copy layer selected, I'll click the Layers panel menu icon and choose Create Clipping Mask. And now, if I toggle the background copy layer on and off, we see that it's affecting only the text directly below it. And there we have it. That's how to turn text into gold, save it with a transparent background, and place it onto a different background in Photoshop. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to click the like button and subscribe to my channel for more Photoshop tutorials. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. I'm Steve Patterson from Photoshop Essentials.